The one thing we can do to help Ontario businesses grow and succeed in the new economy is really, I think, work with government, the private sector working with government to understand the right regulatory regime that needs to exist in this province. You know, it's kind of odd to think that the Ontario Chamber would be saying we need regulation. The truth is we don't need more regulation, we need the right regulation. And when we think about it in terms of the sharing economy, in order to create an environment where these new economies, these new industries, these new companies can thrive, we need to make sure that the legislative regime around these companies makes sense to ensure that they can succeed, while at the same time existing operators that they're perhaps disrupting are not necessarily disadvantaged, inconsistent with real economic growth. Sharing economy companies and existing operators aren't working in two separate paradigms. We're all dealing with the same pool of customers here, and what's really changing is some companies are responding to changing consumer needs and desires and practices, and some aren't. So in order to ensure the success of Ontario's economy, we need those companies that are sharing economy companies and traditional operators to be better understanding the way each other does business, right? So we know that where jurisdictions where Uber comes into play, that existing taxi companies have a broader acceptance of electronic payment. They in some cases develop apps. So what has changed is not the businesses necessarily, but it's that consumer practices are changing, and in order for companies to be successful, they respond to those changing consumer practices. So the OCC is well positioned to convene those existing operators and these new market entrants to have a broad conversation, to educate one another about how can we ensure a more successful Ontario economy, and how can we better respond collectively to changing consumer practices.